Your mind creates your money. Most people believe money changes people. It doesn't. Money reveals people. Your bank account is not just a reflection of your work. It is a reflection of your beliefs, habits, emotional control, and daily decisions. If your mind is programmed for fear, you will sabotage opportunities. If your mind is programmed for scarcity, you will never feel like you have enough. If your mind is programmed for growth, you begin to see possibilities everywhere. The truth is simple. You cannot create wealth with a poor mindset. You cannot build abundance while thinking like someone who expects failure. This audiobook is not about getting rich overnight. It is about becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts wealth because of how they think, act, and decide. Remember this throughout the entire audiobook. Your income follows your identity. Repeat it. Your income follows your identity. Change your identity. Change your habits. Change your future. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Your mind is your greatest financial asset. Everything changes the moment you understand one simple truth. Wealth does not begin in your wallet. It begins in your mind. Most people spend years chasing more money while ignoring the one thing that determines whether they will ever keep it. They search for the perfect job, the perfect investment, the perfect business. They believe success is somewhere outside themselves. It isn't. The greatest financial asset you will ever possess is the way you think. Every dollar you earn, every dollar you spend, every opportunity you accept, every opportunity you ignore, all of it begins with a decision. And every decision begins in the mind. That's the key. If your thinking stays the same, your financial results will eventually return to the same place. You may earn more for a while. You may get lucky once. But without changing the way you think, temporary success often disappears as quickly as it arrived. You have a choice. You can continue blaming your circumstances, or you can begin changing your mindset. The second choice is harder. It is also the only one that creates lasting results. Think about the people who consistently build wealth. They are not perfect. They do not always make the right investment. They do not avoid every mistake. What separates them is that they think differently. They ask different questions. They solve problems instead of complaining about them. They focus on creating value before collecting rewards. That difference starts long before money appears. It starts with identity. Your income follows your identity. Repeat that. Your income follows your identity. If you believe you are someone who always struggles, your actions will quietly support that belief. If you believe success belongs to other people, you will hesitate when opportunity appears. If you believe you are capable of learning, improving, and creating value, your decisions begin to change. Identity shapes behavior. Behavior shapes habits. Habits shape results. That is how wealth is built. Many people try to change the results without changing the identity. They say, "When I become wealthy, I'll become disciplined." No. Discipline comes first. They say, "When I have more money, I'll start investing." No. The habit comes first. They say, "When life becomes easier, I'll become consistent." Life rarely becomes easier. You become stronger. That's the key. Every financial decision begins as a psychological decision. Before you buy something, there is a conversation inside your mind. Before you save money, there is another conversation. Before you ask for a raise, start a business, learn a new skill, or take a calculated risk, your thoughts speak first. Those invisible conversations shape visible outcomes. That is why your mental habits matter more than most people realize. Ask yourself honest questions. Do you react emotionally whenever money is involved? Do you spend to impress people who are not paying your bills? Do you avoid learning because you think it is too late? Do you postpone difficult decisions because comfort feels safer? Every yes reveals a mindset that needs attention. You don't need their permission. You do not need permission to become financially responsible. You do not need permission to study after work. You do not need permission to save before spending. You do not need permission to say no to unnecessary purchases. You only need the willingness to make different decisions. Small decisions matter. Most people ignore them because they appear insignificant. Skipping one unnecessary purchase seems small. Reading 10 pages each day seems small. Saving a little every month seems small. Learning one useful skill each week seems small. Yet small actions repeated for years become extraordinary outcomes. That is how habits work. Rich habits create consistent financial results over time. Notice the word consistent. Not exciting, not dramatic, consistent. Success is built through repetition. You wake up, you learn, you work, you improve, you repeat, day after day, month after month, year after year. The world celebrates overnight success. Reality rewards long-term discipline. Imagine two people earning exactly the same income. The first spends every pay raise immediately. The second increases savings, improves skills, and invests in long-term growth. 5 years pass. Their income may have started the same. Their future does not. The difference was never the paycheck. The difference was the pattern. Patterns become habits. Habits become character. Character becomes destiny. You have a choice. Choose habits that build your future, or choose habits that quietly destroy it. Nobody else makes that decision for you. Protect your attention. Your attention is one of your most valuable assets. Every hour spent learning can become future income. Every hour spent improving your abilities can open new opportunities. Every hour wasted on endless comparison steals time that could have been invested in yourself. Guard your attention carefully. It becomes your future. Protect your environment as well. The people around you influence how you think. If you constantly hear excuses, excuses become normal. If you constantly hear complaints, complaining becomes normal. Seek conversations that challenge you to grow. Growth is uncomfortable. That is exactly why it matters. Remember this: comfort keeps you where you are. Growth takes you where you want to go. You don't need to know everything today. You only need to become a little better than yesterday. Read one chapter, learn one lesson, practice one new skill, make one better decision, then repeat. That's the key. Your financial future is rarely changed by one giant decision. It is changed by hundreds of small decisions that nobody notices, until one day everyone notices the results. People may call it luck. You will know the truth. The truth is that discipline compounds, knowledge compounds, character compounds, habits compound, your identity compounds. That is why you must become the kind of person who can create wealth before expecting wealth to stay. Never separate money from mindset. Money follows decisions. Decisions follow beliefs. Beliefs follow identity. Your income follows your identity. Say it again. Your income follows your identity. The moment you truly believe that, you stop waiting for life to rescue you. You begin building yourself. And as you build yourself, your capacity to create value grows. As your value grows, your opportunities grow. As your opportunities grow, your financial results begin to reflect the person you have become. This chapter is not about becoming rich tomorrow. It is about becoming different today. Because lasting wealth is not created by one lucky moment. It is created by thousands of disciplined moments that begin in the mind. Remember that every time you face a financial decision, you have a choice. Choose growth instead of excuses. Choose discipline instead of impulse. Choose learning instead of comfort. Choose the identity that matches the future you want. Because your greatest financial asset has never been your money. It has always been your mind. And now that you understand where wealth truly begins, you are ready for the next step. In the next chapter, you'll discover why so many people remain trapped, thinking like consumers. and how adopting the mindset of an owner can completely transform the direction of your financial life. Chapter 2. Stop thinking like a consumer and start thinking like an owner. There is one decision that quietly separates people who build wealth from people who spend their entire lives chasing it. It is not intelligence. It is not education. It is not luck. It is how they think. Consumers ask one question: what can I buy? Owners ask a different question: what can I build? That single shift changes everything. Every advertisement you see has one goal. It wants you to consume. Every notification, every sale, every limited time offer, every trend. Someone is competing for your attention because your attention eventually becomes your money. You have a choice. You can spend your life financing someone else's dream, or you can begin building your own. That's the key. Being an owner is not only about owning a business, it is a mindset. You can own your decisions, own your schedule, own your learning, own your mistakes, own your future. Ownership begins long before you own assets. It begins the moment you stop making excuses. Many people blame the economy, their boss, their family, their past. Sometimes those challenges are real. But blame has never created wealth. Responsibility has. The moment you accept responsibility, you regain power. That is why successful people ask different questions. Instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" they ask, "What can I do next?" Instead of asking, "Who should fix this?" they ask, "What part of this can I improve?" That mindset creates momentum. Consumers wait, owners act. Think about your daily habits. When you receive money, what is your first thought? Do you immediately think about buying something, or do you think about making that money work for you? That question matters, because every dollar has a job. If you don't give your money a purpose, it will quickly disappear. Money is a tool, nothing more, nothing less. Tools are meant to build, not impress. Too many people spend money trying to look successful. They buy expensive things before they build financial stability. They chase appearances instead of progress. But appearances never pay your bills. Assets do. Skills do. Discipline does. You don't need their permission. You don't need permission to drive an older car while building savings. You don't need permission to live below your means. You don't need permission to invest in yourself before buying luxuries. You are building something bigger than approval. Remember that. An owner understands delayed gratification. That means saying no today so you can say yes tomorrow. It means choosing long-term freedom over short-term excitement. It means understanding that every sacrifice has a purpose. People often see the reward. They rarely see the years of preparation. They admire the business. They never watch the late nights. They admire financial freedom. They never watch the disciplined mornings. Results are visible. Discipline is usually invisible. That is why most people underestimate it. Every day you make deposits into your future. Sometimes those deposits are money. Sometimes they are knowledge. Sometimes they are skills. Sometimes they are relationships. Everything valuable compounds. Read 10 pages today. Tomorrow, read 10 more. Practice your craft today. Practice again tomorrow. Save a little today. Save again next month. Progress rarely announces itself. It accumulates quietly. That is exactly how wealth works. You have a choice. You can continue measuring success by what you own, or you can measure success by who you are becoming. The second measurement lasts much longer. Owners focus on creating value. Ask yourself this question every morning. How can I become more valuable today? Can you improve a skill? Can you solve a problem? Can you help someone? Can you learn something that increases your ability to earn? Value always has a market. The more value you create, the more opportunities begin to appear. Not overnight, but consistently. That's the key. Stop comparing yourself with people who are only showing the highlights of their lives. Comparison creates distraction. Distraction destroys focus. Focus creates progress. Progress builds confidence. Confidence encourages action. Action creates results. Protect your focus. Your future depends on it. There will always be people who spend more than you. There will always be people who appear more successful. Ignore the noise. Stay committed to your own path. Your journey is not a competition. It is a construction project. You are building a stronger mind, better habits, greater discipline, a more valuable future, brick by brick, decision by decision, day by day. Remember this. Consumers ask, what does this cost? Owners ask, what is this worth? That difference changes every financial decision. Sometimes the cheapest choice becomes the most expensive because it costs you time, energy, or opportunity. Sometimes investing in learning creates returns that no purchase ever could. Learn to think beyond the price. Think about the value. That habit alone can reshape your financial future. Your income follows your identity. Repeat it. Your income follows your identity. If your identity is built around consumption, your money will disappear. If your identity is built around ownership, responsibility, and value creation, your financial life begins to change. Not because money suddenly appears, because you become the kind of person who knows what to do when it does. That is the transformation. This chapter is not asking you to avoid enjoyment. It is asking you to become intentional. Spend with purpose, save with purpose, learn with purpose, build with purpose. Everything begins with purpose. As you develop the mindset of an owner, another challenge appears. Even people with the right mindset can lose everything if they cannot manage themselves. Because the greatest threat to wealth is often not a lack of opportunity. It is a lack of emotional control. That is where we are going next. In the next chapter, you'll discover why mastering your emotions is one of the most profitable skills you can ever develop, and why calm decisions often create extraordinary financial results. Chapter 3. Master your emotions before you chase more money. Money does not test your intelligence first. It tests your emotions. That is a truth most people discover too late. They spend years learning how to earn more. Very few spend time learning how to think more clearly under pressure. Yet one emotional decision can erase years of disciplined work. Think about it. How many people buy because they are excited? How many sell because they are afraid? How many give up because progress feels too slow? The problem is rarely information. The problem is emotion. That's the key. Your emotions are powerful. They can inspire action. They can also destroy judgment. If you allow every feeling to become a decision, your financial future will always be unstable. You have a choice. You can react or you can respond. There is a difference. Reaction is immediate. Response is intentional. Reaction follows emotion. Response follows purpose. Successful people are not emotionless. They simply refuse to let temporary feelings make permanent decisions. That is emotional discipline. And emotional discipline creates financial discipline. Imagine two investors. The market falls. The first panics. He sells everything because fear tells him the future's over. The second pauses. He reviews the facts. He follows his plan. Months later, the market recovers. One person lost because of emotion. The other gained because of discipline. The event was the same. The mindset was different. Life works the same way. Every challenge invites an emotional response. A failed interview, a rejected business idea, a slow month, an unexpected expense. Those moments reveal who you are becoming, not when everything is easy, when everything is difficult. You don't need their permission. You don't need permission to stay calm while others panic. You don't need permission to ignore unnecessary drama. You don't need permission to protect your peace. Calm is a competitive advantage. People who stay calm see opportunities that emotional people miss. That is why controlling yourself is more valuable than controlling circumstances. You cannot control the economy. You cannot control markets. You cannot control what other people do, but you can control your response, and that changes everything. Many people confuse confidence with loudness. Real confidence is quiet. It does not need to announce itself. It keeps learning. It keeps improving. It keeps showing up, even when nobody is watching. Especially when nobody is watching. Your habits matter most when your emotions are strongest. Anyone can save money when life feels good. Can you save when temptation appears? Anyone can stay focused for one day. Can you stay focused for 1 year? Anyone can remain patient while things are easy. Can you remain patient when nothing seems to be happening? That is where transformation begins. Discipline is not built during comfortable moments. It is built during uncomfortable ones. Fear will always offer you an excuse. Impatience will always offer you a shortcut. Pride will always tell you that you already know enough. Do not listen. Listen to your principles instead. Create rules that protect you from your emotions. Decide in advance how much you will save. Decide in advance how much you will invest in learning. Decide in advance what distractions you will avoid. When emotions rise, your principles become your anchor. That's the key. Ask yourself an important question. What emotion controls me most? Is it fear? Fear keeps people from starting. Is it greed? Greed convinces people that one risky decision will solve every problem. Is it envy? Envy steals gratitude and replaces it with comparison. Is it pride? Pride prevents learning. Whatever emotion controls your decisions will eventually control your results. Identify it. Challenge it. Replace it. Because growth begins with awareness. The strongest people are not those who never feel emotion. They are the people who refuse to surrender to it. When frustration appears, they keep working. When doubt appears, they keep learning. When success arrives, they remain humble. When failure arrives, they remain teachable. That balance creates resilience. Resilience creates consistency. Consistency creates progress. Progress creates confidence. Everything is connected. Remember this. Temporary emotions should never determine permanent direction. A bad day does not require a bad decision. A setback does not require surrender. One mistake does not define your future. You have a choice. Pause, think, then act. That simple habit can save you years of regret. Every great builder understands timing. They know when to move. They know when to wait. Waiting is difficult because emotion demands action. Wisdom often demands patience. Patience is not weakness. Patience is controlled strength. It is trusting the process when results are still invisible. That is why emotionally disciplined people often appear ordinary in the beginning. They are quietly building, quietly learning, quietly improving. Then one day, the results become impossible to ignore. People call it overnight success. It never was. It was emotional discipline repeated over hundreds of ordinary days. Your income follows your identity. If your identity is built on impulse, your money will come and go. If your identity is built on patience, responsibility, and self-control, your financial future becomes stronger with every decision. That is the person you are becoming, not someone who reacts, someone who responds, not someone controlled by fear, someone guided by purpose, not someone chasing every opportunity, someone capable of choosing the right opportunity. That is real wealth. Because money without emotional control disappears, but emotional control creates the ability to build wealth again and again. Carry this lesson with you before every purchase, before every investment, before every important decision. Ask yourself one question. Am I acting from emotion or am I acting from purpose? That question alone can change your future. In the next chapter, We'll build on this foundation by exploring the daily habits that make wealth almost inevitable. You'll discover why extraordinary financial success is rarely the result of extraordinary effort, and almost always the result of ordinary actions repeated with extraordinary consistency. Chapter 4. Build habits that make wealth inevitable. People love big moments: the promotion, the successful business, the investment that pays off, the breakthrough. But those moments are only the visible result. The real story happens long before anyone notices. It happens in the habits. That is where wealth is built, not in one extraordinary day, in thousands of ordinary ones. That's the key. Look at any person who has created lasting success. You will almost never find one dramatic decision that changed everything. Instead, you will find routines, daily actions, consistent standards, small promises they made to themselves and kept. That is what separates dreamers from builders. Dreamers wait for motivation. Builders rely on habits. Motivation comes and goes. Habits stay. You have a choice. You can wait until you feel ready, or you can become the kind of person who acts whether you feel ready or not. Choose the second path. It is harder. It is also the one that works. Most people overestimate what they can accomplish in 1 week. They underestimate what they can accomplish in 5 years. Why? Because they ignore the power of repetition. Imagine improving by just 1% every day. One better decision, one better conversation, one better hour. It doesn't look impressive today. It becomes extraordinary over time. Progress compounds, just like money. That is why habits are your greatest investment. Your habits determine your future more than your goals ever will. Goals give you direction. Habits move you there. Without habits, goals become wishes. Without action, vision becomes fantasy. Stop collecting goals. Start building systems. Ask yourself this question every morning. What is one action that moves me forward today? Not 10 actions, not 50. 1. Complete it. Then repeat tomorrow. That is how confidence grows. Not by thinking, by doing. You don't need their permission. You don't need permission to wake up earlier. You don't need permission to read instead of scrolling. You don't need permission to learn a valuable skill after work. You don't need permission to improve your life. Give yourself permission, then begin. Many people fail because they make discipline too complicated. They believe success requires perfect conditions. It doesn't. Success requires consistency. Some days you will feel inspired. Some days you won't. Do the work anyway. Some days progress will be obvious. Some days it will feel invisible. Continue anyway. Some days you will question yourself. Keep moving anyway. That is discipline. Discipline is keeping the promise you made to yourself after the excitement has disappeared. That's the key. Your morning matters. How you begin your day often shapes how you finish it. If your first hour is filled with distraction, your focus becomes weaker. If your first hour is filled with intention, your decisions become stronger. Protect the beginning of your day. Use it to build yourself before the world begins demanding your attention. Read, think, plan, learn, move your body. Prepare your mind. You are investing in the most valuable asset you own, yourself. Another habit that creates wealth is learning continuously. The world changes. Technology changes. Industries change. Opportunities change. If you stop learning, you slowly become less valuable. If you continue learning, you increase your ability to solve bigger problems. And people are willing to pay for problem solvers. Never believe that education ends when school ends. Your greatest education may happen long after you leave the classroom. Read books. Listen carefully. Ask questions. Study people who have achieved what you hope to achieve. Not to copy them, to understand principles. Principles last. Trends come and go. Remember that. Another powerful habit is delayed gratification. This means choosing what matters most over what feels good right now. It means saving when you could spend, learning when you could relax, practicing when you could quit. It is not glamorous, it is powerful. Every time you delay immediate pleasure for long-term growth, you strengthen your character. And strong character creates strong financial decisions. Think of discipline like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Ignore it, and it weakens. Train it daily, even in small ways. Make your bed, finish what you start, arrive on time, keep your word. These habits may seem unrelated to money. They are not. A disciplined person carries discipline into every area of life. The way you do small things often predicts how you will do big things. That's the key. Stop looking for shortcuts. Shortcuts often delay success instead of creating it. The fastest path is usually steady progress. Build one skill, then another. Master one habit, then another. Layer your improvements. Eventually, the person you become is almost unrecognizable from the person you were. Not because of one dramatic transformation, because of thousands of disciplined decisions. You have a choice. Every day, every hour, every decision. Will this action move me closer to the person I want to become, or farther away? Answer honestly. Then act accordingly. Remember this truth. Your future is hidden inside your daily routine. If you want different results, examine your habits. Not your wishes, not your excuses. Your habits. Your income follows your identity. Repeat it. Your income follows your identity. Your identity is strengthened by the habits you repeat. If you repeatedly act with discipline, you become disciplined. If you repeatedly act with patience, you become patient. If you repeatedly invest in yourself, you become more valuable. Identity is not built by what you say. It is built by what you repeatedly do. Never underestimate one good habit. One habit can improve another. Reading improves thinking. Better thinking improves decisions. Better decisions improve finances. Improved finances create new opportunities. Everything is connected. This is why lasting wealth is rarely an accident. It is the natural outcome of consistent habits practiced over time. Stay committed, stay patient, stay disciplined. There will be days when progress feels invisible. Keep going. There will be days when others move faster. Stay focused. There will be days when quitting feels easier. Choose growth. That is what builders do, and builders eventually create what dreamers only imagine. In the next chapter, we'll uncover one of the biggest invisible barriers to financial success, the scarcity mindset. You'll learn how to replace fear, limitation, and constant comparison with an abundance mindset that helps you recognize opportunities instead of obstacles. Chapter 5. Replace scarcity with abundance. Thinking. Your future is not determined only by how much money you have. It is determined by how you think about money. That is where many people lose before they ever begin. They don't lose because they lack opportunity. They lose because they believe opportunity is limited. They believe success belongs to someone else. They believe there isn't enough to go around. That belief has a name: scarcity. Scarcity is not just an empty bank account. It is an empty way of thinking. It whispers the same lies every day. There isn't enough. Someone else already got there first. I missed my chance. I'm too late. I'll never catch up. If you listen to those thoughts long enough, they become your reality, not because they are true, because you start acting as if they are. That's the key. Your beliefs shape your behavior. Your behavior shapes your future. If you believe opportunities are rare, you stop looking for them. If you believe successful people are simply lucky, you stop improving yourself. If you believe your current situation defines your future, you stop growing. And when growth stops, progress stops. You have a choice. You can think in terms of limitation, or you can think in terms of possibility. Choose possibility. That choice changes everything. An abundance mindset does not mean pretending problems don't exist. It does not mean ignoring reality. It means refusing to believe that today's reality is tomorrow's destiny. There is a difference. People with an abundance mindset understand one important truth. Value can be created, skills can be learned, relationships can be built, opportunities can be found, income can grow, knowledge can expand. Nothing about your current situation has to be permanent. That is freedom. Many people spend their lives comparing themselves to others. Comparison is one of the fastest ways to create scarcity. You see someone driving a nicer car. You assume they are winning. You see someone building a successful business. You assume you are behind. You see someone reaching a goal before you. You begin doubting your own journey. Stop. You're comparing your everyday reality to someone else's highlight reel. That comparison is unfair. More importantly, it is unnecessary. You don't need their permission. You don't need permission to move at your own pace. You don't need permission to celebrate someone else's success. You don't need permission to build quietly. The success of another person does not reduce your chances of succeeding. There is room for excellence. There is room for innovation. There is room for people who solve problems. Remember that. Successful people rarely ask, why them? They ask, what can I learn? That single question transforms envy into education. Every successful person becomes a teacher instead of a threat. That is abundance. Scarcity says, if they win, I lose. Abundance says, if they can do it, perhaps I can learn something that helps me improve. See the difference. One mindset creates bitterness. The other creates growth. That's the key. Think about a farmer. The farmer does not panic because today's field is empty. The farmer understands the process. Prepare the soil, plant the seed, protect the crop, wait patiently, harvest later. Nobody plants a seed today and expects fruit tomorrow. Yet people do exactly that with success. They want immediate results, immediate wealth, immediate recognition, immediate proof. Life rarely works that way. The greatest rewards often require the greatest patience. Every day you invest in yourself is another seed. Every page you read, every skill you practice, every disciplined decision, every problem you solve, those are seeds. Keep planting them. The harvest will come. Many people stop because they cannot see immediate progress. Don't make that mistake. Invisible growth is still growth. The roots of a tree develop long before anyone admires its height. Your character develops long before people notice your success. Stay rooted, stay patient, stay committed. That is how lasting wealth is built. Another sign of scarcity thinking is fear of investing in yourself. People spend hundreds on temporary pleasure, but hesitate to buy a book. They hesitate to learn a new skill. They hesitate to attend a course. Why? Because scarcity tells them education is an expense. Abundance understands education is an investment. The best investment you will ever make is the one that improves your ability to create value. Nobody can take your knowledge. Nobody can steal your experience. Nobody can remove your discipline. Those investments continue paying dividends long after money has been spent. Never stop investing in yourself. Never. You have a choice. You can consume information endlessly, or you can apply what you learn. Application creates transformation. Knowledge without action changes nothing. Reading without implementation changes nothing. Watching videos without execution changes nothing. Action changes everything. That is the key. Gratitude is another weapon against scarcity. Gratitude does not make you satisfied with mediocrity. It reminds you of the progress you have already made. People who never appreciate today's blessings often struggle to manage tomorrow's opportunities. Be grateful, but stay hungry. Those two attitudes can exist together. Gratitude keeps your perspective healthy. Ambition keeps you moving forward. Balance both. Your language matters too. Listen to the words you repeat every day. I can't. I'm stuck. It's impossible. I'll never succeed. Those words become instructions for your mind. Replace them. Ask better questions. What can I learn? What skill do I need? Who has solved this problem before? What is my next step? Questions create focus. Focus creates solutions. Solutions create opportunities. Remember this. There will always be uncertainty. There will always be competition. There will always be obstacles. But there will also always be opportunities. The question is not whether opportunity exists. The question is whether your mindset allows you to recognize it. People with scarcity thinking see closed doors. People with abundance thinking look for another entrance, or they build their own. That is why mindset matters so much. Your income follows your identity. Repeat it. Your income follows your identity. If your identity is built on fear, your decisions will reflect fear. If your identity is built on possibility, responsibility, and growth, your actions begin to create different results, not instantly, but consistently. And consistency wins, always. Remember what you've learned so far. Your mind is your greatest financial asset. Think like an owner. Master your emotions. Build disciplined habits. Now add one more principle. Expect possibility. Because people who expect growth prepare for growth. People who prepare for growth recognize opportunities. And people who recognize opportunities often create the future others only hope for. The journey doesn't end here. In the next chapter, you'll discover what it truly means to become the kind of person wealth naturally follows. Because money rarely chases people. It follows value, and becoming more valuable is the greatest investment you will ever make. Chapter 6. Become the person. Wealth naturally follows. Most people spend their lives chasing money. Very few spend their lives becoming the kind of person money follows. That difference changes everything. The question is not simply, how do I make more money? The better question is, who do I need to become? That's the key. Money is attracted to value, not wishes, not excuses, not potential alone, value. The more value you create, the more opportunities begin to find you. Think about the people who are paid the most. They solve difficult problems. They make decisions. They lead teams. They build businesses. They create products. They improve systems. They help other people achieve better results. Notice the pattern. They create value before they receive rewards. Too many people want the reward first. They want higher income before developing higher skills. They want financial freedom before accepting financial responsibility. They want success before becoming dependable. Life rarely works that way. Rewards usually follow preparation, not the other way around. You have a choice. You can spend your energy asking why success hasn't arrived. Or you can spend your energy becoming impossible to ignore. Choose the second option. It always pays better. Your income follows your identity. Repeat it. Your income follows your identity. If you see yourself as someone who learns continuously, your knowledge grows. If you see yourself as someone who keeps promises, your discipline grows. If you see yourself as someone who creates value, your opportunities grow. Identity comes first. Income follows. Never reverse that order. One of the greatest investments you will ever make is in your own competence. Competence creates confidence. Confidence creates action. Action creates results. That is the cycle you want. Read more than the average person. Practice more than the average person. Stay curious longer than the average person. The world rewards people who continue learning after everyone else has stopped. Knowledge is valuable. Applied knowledge is priceless. Reading 100 books changes very little if you never apply what you learn. Reading one book and putting its lessons into practice can change your life. That is the difference. Execution. Always execution. You don't need their permission. You don't need permission to become more skilled. You don't need permission to improve your communication. You don't need permission to learn about investing, business, leadership, or sales. You don't need permission to outgrow the version of yourself that no longer serves your future. Give yourself permission, then get to work. Remember this truth. Your reputation is built one decision at a time. People trust consistency. If you say you will do something, do it. If you promise excellence, deliver it. If you make a mistake, own it. Responsibility builds credibility. Credibility creates opportunity. Opportunity creates income. Everything connects. Many people underestimate reliability. They think extraordinary success requires extraordinary talent. Sometimes it requires something much simpler: being dependable, showing up on time, finishing what you start, keeping your word, doing quality work when nobody is watching. These habits are not glamorous, but they are rare, and rare qualities become valuable qualities. Ask yourself honestly, are you becoming someone others can trust? Can people rely on your work? Can they rely on your character? Can they rely on your attitude during difficult moments? Because wealth often follows trust. People invest in people they trust. Customers buy from people they trust. Employers promote people they trust. Partners work with people they trust. Trust is an asset. Protect it carefully. Another quality that attracts opportunity is adaptability. The world keeps changing. Technology changes. Markets change. Skills become outdated. People who refuse to adapt slowly become irrelevant. Don't fear change. Prepare for it. Learn faster. Adjust faster. Improve faster. The strongest tree is not always the biggest. It is often the one that bends without breaking. Your mindset should do the same. Stay grounded in your values. Remain flexible in your methods. That's the key. Humility is another form of wealth. Pride says, I already know. Humility says, what else can I learn? Pride closes doors. Humility opens them. The moment you believe you have nothing left to learn, your growth begins to slow. Stay teachable. No matter how much progress you make, no matter how much success you achieve, there's always another lesson, another skill, another level. Keep climbing. One habit separates lifelong learners from everyone else. They ask better questions. Instead of asking, how can I avoid work? They ask, how can I become more valuable? Instead of asking, when will someone give me an opportunity? They ask, how can I create one? Those questions shift your focus from waiting to building. Builders always have an advantage. You have a choice. Become someone who reacts to life, or become someone who shapes it. Become someone who complains, or become someone who contributes. Become someone who consumes, or become someone who creates. Every decision strengthens your identity. Every identity shapes your future. Never underestimate compound growth. Improve your communication by 1%. Improve your discipline by 1%. Improve your financial knowledge by 1%. Improve your health by 1%. These improvements multiply. They do not simply add together. A healthier body gives you more energy. More energy improves your work. Better work creates better opportunities. Better opportunities create greater income. Everything works together. That is why true wealth is never just about money. It is about becoming a stronger person in every area of life. Character, discipline, integrity, patience, responsibility. These qualities cannot be purchased. They must be earned. And once they are earned, they become part of who you are. Nobody can take them away. Remember this: money can disappear. Skills remain. Businesses can fail. Character remains. Markets can change. Discipline remains. When your foundation is strong, you can rebuild almost anything. That is real security. Not depending on one paycheck. Not depending on one opportunity. Depending on the person you have become. Your income follows your identity. Say it again. Your income follows your identity. Become more valuable. Become more disciplined. Become more responsible. Become more resilient. When you become the right person, The right opportunities become easier to recognize and easier to seize. That is the lesson. Don't chase success. Become someone capable of sustaining it. Don't chase wealth. Become someone capable of creating it repeatedly. That transformation lasts far longer than any paycheck. Now you are ready for the final lesson. Because even with the right mindset, emotional discipline, ownership, habits, abundance thinking, and personal growth, one challenge remains: time. In the final chapter, you'll discover why the wealthiest thinkers play a different game. They stop thinking in days and months, and they begin thinking in years and decades. That shift changes not only how they build wealth, but how they build an extraordinary life. Your new financial identity begins today. Everything you've heard comes back to one truth. Wealth is not a lucky event. It is a mental pattern. It is a way of thinking. It is a way of deciding. It is a way of living. Remember the lessons. Master your emotions. Think like an owner. Build disciplined habits. Choose abundance over scarcity. Become more valuable every single day. And never forget the phrase that ties this entire audiobook together. Your income follows your identity. Say it again. Your income follows your identity. The moment you change who you believe you are, your actions begin to change. When your actions change, your results change. And when your results change, your life changes. If this message challenged the way you think, don't let it become just another audiobook you listen to. Apply one lesson today, then another tomorrow. Transformation is built through repetition, not inspiration. Your wealth begins in your mind. Rewire it. Stay disciplined, stay patient, and become the person success cannot ignore.